Focusing on the economy tonight, earmarks are a hot topic in Washington these days. Many Republicans want to get rid of them, but many Democrats and members of Vermont's delegation, including one independent senator, say not so fast. For more on the earmark debate, let's turn now to Fox 44's Mitch Pittman. Mitch?
I sat down with Senator Bernie Sanders earlier this evening, and he says without earmarks, Vermont would be a very different place.
Cut all the earmarks in the world tomorrow, it would not reduce the budget by 1 cent.
Senator Bernie Sanders clearly doesn't like the idea of eliminating earmarks. That's because he says earmarks let the people who know the state decide where the money goes.
If you don't have earmarks, the bill will still have $10 billion in it, except the money will be distributed from the bureaucracy in Washington.
Sanders is in favor of stopping the next bridge to nowhere, but he says much of the spending is good.
Don't tell me that bringing money back into the state so that children can get dental care is a bad thing.
If you go by the numbers, earmarks are a big deal in Vermont. In the 2010 fiscal year, Vermont had $100 million in earmarks. In other words, out of the entire U.S., Vermont is fourth highest in earmark dollars per person.
If we had not brought that money back into the state, in many respects, the state would look a lot different. There would be a lot fewer jobs.
Jobs were a big part of a $2.4 million earmark Williston Company revision eyewear received in January from Senator Patrick Leahy.
Now, that's obviously helpful to us in Vermont because they keep hiring more and more people.
Sanders says there are better ways to cut spending than eliminating earmarks, which usually account for around $16 billion or less than 1% of the total budget. He calls his Republican colleagues hypocritical for wanting to extend the top tier of Bush tax cuts.
$70 billion a year for the top 2% in tax breaks, $17 billion in earmarks. You tell me whether that makes a whole lot of sense if you're serious about deficit reduction.
When it comes to how much each member of Vermont's delegation gets in earmarks, last year Welch had $10 million, Sanders had $33 million, and Leahy had 83 earmarks for $105 million. In the studio, Mitch Pittman, Fox 44 Local News.